The stories, the features, the races are coming up next on ESPN.
Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest. The weekly national report on thoroughbred racing is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Thrifty Car Rental. Thrifty is a lot of car rental company for incredibly little. By Lane's End Farm, sponsor of the Thoroughbred Digest Trainer of the Month Award. And by the Naira Net, the New York Racing Association simulcasting network.
And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln with a welcome to our first edition of the 1990 Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest, the start of our third year, the nation's only weekly thoroughbred racing recap show here on ESPN. Well, we begin first by extending our birthday wishes and congratulations to all the thoroughbreds, of course, who turned a year older on January the 1st. Last year's classic horses like Sunday Silence and Easy Goer now head to the handicapping ranks. And the juvenile stars of 1989, well, they get ready to head on the road to the Triple Crown. With that in mind, we want to take a look at some of those early Kentucky Derby favorites. We'll start first with Grand Canyon. The D. Wayne Lucas trained and owned in partnership with W.T. Young. The big colt was awesome in winning the Hollywood Futurity in the fastest mile time of 1:33 ever recorded by a 2-year-old. The $495,000 first place check from the Hollywood Futurity pushed Grand Canyon over the $1 million mark in earnings for the big son of Papiano. Grand Canyon will take the West Coast route towards the Kentucky Derby. His first start in 1990, possibly the San Rafael on March 3rd, or the San Felipe, March 18th at Santa Anita. Dogwood Stable's undefeated colt, Summer Squall, muscling his way through racing action here in the green and yellow silks of Dogwood Stable. Pointed toward the Hutchison Stakes at Gulfstream Park, our first telecast of 1990 on ESPN. Summer Squall, a perfect 5 for 5 in 89, with wins in the Hopeful and the Saratoga Special. Injury forced him out of the fall campaign. Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner Rhythm from the powerful Fifth Stable, trained by Shug McGahee. He's in Florida. Preparations along with his stablemate adjudicating it. Now their powerful 1-2 punch for the McGahee stable. Well, other names to watch for in the early new year with the 3-year-old crop include the unbeaten New York bred Champagne for Ashley, trained by Howie Tesher. He's down in Florida. The Aladar colt Stella Madrid, who won 3 Grade 1 races at 2, and Ron McAnally's duo of Single Dawn, along with his stablemate Silver Ending. Now, they're being pointed to run both of them in the Bay Meadows El Camino Real Derby the 21st of this month. When we come back, we'll head to Santa Anita for this week's feature race, the $100,000 Palos Verdes Handicap, with a record coming up. Welcome back on the Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest Show. Let's go to the great race place now, Santa Anita, for our Breeders' Cup feature race of the week.
This week's feature race is brought to you by the Breeders' Cup, promoting racing year-round with the Breeders' Cup Budweiser Special Stakes Program, the new Premium Stakes Program, and Breeders' Cup Day, racing's $10 million championship.
Let's take a look now at the conditions for the Palos Verdes Handicap. It's a Grade 3, $100,000 added at 6 furlongs. And we'll take a look at the field now of 6. The heavy betting favorite, Olympic Prospect, trained by John Sadler, ridden by Alex Solis. Then it's Order, a longer shot on the board at 20 to 1. Sunny Blossom with Gary Stevens at 5 to 1, sent out by trainer Eddie Gregson. The 4-horse is Cutter's Sand, the biggest price on the board at 52 to 1. Reconnoitering is the 5-horse. Chris McCarron has them out there. And on the outside, ridden by Lafitte Pinkai Jr. at 6 to 5 is Sam Hu. Now for the call to the $100,000 Palos Verdes Handicap. Here's Santa Anita's Trevor Denman.
And away they go. Broke in a perfect line. Cutter Sam goes to the early lead, now being passed by Sunny Blossom. Olympic Prospect is racing third, a length and 3/4 off the leader. Sam Hu is in fourth. Then we come back to Order, reconnoitering last, 8 off the leaders. Ahead to the half-mile pole, Sunny Blossom by a length. Cutter Sam is racing second. Olympic Prospect tucked in at the rail third. Sam Hu just a length off him. Then it's another 3 lengths back to Order and reconnoitering. 3/8 of a mile to go. Sunny Blossom a length and a half. Olympic Prospect trying to get out from that inside position. Sam Hu has run up alongside of him. Cutter Sam between those two. A quarter of a mile to go. Sunny Blossom's finding more up front. Olympic Prospect now off the rail and coming after him. Sam Hu not quite doing enough. 3/16 to go. Sunny Blossom on the inside. Olympic Prospect coming at him on the outside. Sunny Blossom and Gary Stevens hanging on to it. Olympic Prospect and Alex Solis chasing them off. But Sunny Blossom's fighting him off. Sunny Blossom, Gary Stevens has nursed him all the way to the wire. Sunny Blossom wins the Palace Birdies.
Sunny Blossom stops the teletimer in a new Santa Anita track record, 1:07.1, busting the old mark by Chinook Pass of 1:07.3. Sunny Blossom is by Sonny Climb out of New Blossom, and again trained by Eddie Gregson, ridden to victory by Gary Stevens. Olympic Prospect, the favorite, running second, and Sam Hu third. Now for a closer look at Sunny Blossom's record-breaking performance in the Palos Verdes, let's go to the Daily Racing Form's trackman John White. We'll also hear from winning rider Gary Stevens.
This was an absolutely superlative performance by Sunny Blossom. Not only did he break the track record by 2/5 of a second, but it was the way in which he did it that was so impressive. As you look at Sunny Blossom racing through the upper stretch, look at jockey Gary Stevens. He doesn't even have Sunny Blossom under a drive. For a horse to run that fast without being under a drive is something not seen every day.
Well, Sunny Blossom, he popped the gate. He immediately was in front, had daylight on Olympic Prospect. I really expected to be laying second behind him. My horse rated kind in his last race, and I figured that's the way that it would set up. But like I say, my horse popped the gate, and our strategy changed about the second jump. And he ran very easily the first part. He was setting fast fractions and doing it easy, and when I asked him at the quarter pole, he just exploded. When I was pulling up, I told the outrider that I didn't feel like I'd ever been that fast before, and when I came back, was galloping back, I saw the tote board and saw that he had broke the track record, and it was just an impressive run for Sunny Blossom.
6 furlongs, 1:07.1 for Sunny Blossom, our feature race winner. When we come back, we'll have our race recap for the first week of the new year. Stay with us. Well, every week on the Digest Show, we invite you to come on down and join us on the rail here for the best spot to view some of the nation's top stakes races. Let's take a look at our race recap for the week now, and we'll get started at the Big A Aqueduct in New York, the Gallant Bob Handicap, featuring some veteran stakes runners like the Alan Sewall trainee Teddy Drone, leading the field into the stretch, Pock to Pock, followed by Appealing Guy ridden by Jacinto Vasquez. Here's Frank Dwyer with the call.
Coming to the head of the stretch with a quarter of a mile to go. 1/2 and 46 seconds. Appealing Guy now moves up and takes a short lead. Pock to Pock fights back. Kid Russell is third, then Teddy Drone, True and Blue, passing the 8th pole. Appealing Guy on the outside leads it by a neck. Fighting back is Pock to Pock, closing with the rush. Here comes True and Blue. True and Blue at the late run now takes the lead.
Jose Santos guides True and Blue from the back of the pack to take the Gallant Bob by a length and 3/4 over Appealing Guy. The 4-year-old Bay Gelding is by Hurry Up Blue out of the Mr. Prospector mare, A Real Native. True and Blue, owned by Barbara Davis, trained by Gaspar Moschera. Well, not much to show you from Sunday's Grade 3 2¼ mile display handicap, the longest major stakes race in the country. You wouldn't know it by looking. Look at the thick fog that blanketed the Big A that afternoon. You'll have to look very close to somewhere in there find Gallant Fox winner Passing Ships. Chart a course through the soup, crossed the wire 17½ lengths in front of second place finisher High Policy. Just take my word for it, there he is, the shadow in front. This is the 5th consecutive win for Passing Ships, a 5-year-old son of 5th Marine out of the mare Pass Away. Passing Ships is trained by Robert Cliceris, piloted home through the fog by Angel Cordero Jr. Well, now to a clearer picture at Santa Anita, where they ran 3 graded stakes over the New Year's weekend. You saw Saturday's stakes earlier, our feature race, the Palos Verdes Handicap. Now, let's see what happened the next day. Sunday's 1.125 Grade 3 San Gabriel Handicap on the turf. Here's track announcer Trevor Demon with the call.
Payant has been asked, but he's got some running to do. A quarter of a mile left to go. In Extremis down at the rail. Bosphorus has pulled off the rail and comes to take him on. Delegant on the outside of that. The long shot King Mab running a big one at the rail. An eighth of a mile to go. In Extremis has fighting them all off. It's In Extremis in front, a length and a half. Patchy ground from. Here comes Retham like an express train. Retham is absolutely flying, and Retham gets up to win it from Patchy ground.
Lafitte, Penkai Jr. and Retham were shuffled back earlier in the race, then came into the stretch 5 wide, but overcame those problems to get the win in the San Gabriel. Retham is a 4-year-old British-bred son of Hembed out of the mare Haley Warren, and trained by Neil Drysdale, who had a sensational 1989 and off to a good start in 1990. Well, Santa Anita rang in the new year on Monday. The Grade 3 $100,000 La Brea Breeders' Cup Stakes for 4-year-old fillies. Leading the field for most of the race, the Jack Klugman-owned favorite, Akinamot, trained by Jerry Fanning. Once again, here's Trevor Denman.
Mile to go. Akinamot is still just cruising out on the lead. Gary Stevens has not asked her. Akinamot's pulling away to the lead. Linda Card is under a hard ride. Fantastic look on the outside. They come to the 8th pole. It's a 2-horse race. Akinamot and Fantastic Look, but Akinamot is bounding out strongly on the lead. A 16th to go, and Akinamot, this daughter of Time to Explode, records yet another win as she wins the La Brea Stakes easily.
Gary Stevens and Akinamot draw from the stretch to win the La Brea by 2 lengths. The time 1:21.3. Akinamot, a daughter Time to Explode, out of the mare Lady Passes. Now let's head north to San Francisco for the mile Grade 3 California Juvenile at Bay Meadows. The field full of some well-known 2-year-olds, including the Dwayne Lucas trainees, Captain Starbuck and Super Mario. They're looking to knock off the betting favorite from Clover Stable, Kansas City, trained by Julio Canani. But leading the field from the beginning, 42-1 long shot, Champagne and Jules. Here's the call from track announcer Danny Alameda.
Champagne and Jules, 3/4 of a length. Restless Con on the outside, cutting a corner, call on the Irish. Between horses, Sangria Time, and here's Kansas City on the outside. Kansas City, Champagne and Jules, the long shot, keeping the lead. 3/4 of a length, driving up. Here comes Gold Finale 2. Champagne and Jules, gonna win it for the home team.
Champagne and Jules leads 2 other Northern California long shots across the wire in the California Juvenile for a sizable $2 exacta payoff of $761.40 on track and a $5 exacta off track at the Santa Anita simulcast, paying better than $3,022. Champagne and Jules is a son of Baron O'Dublin, co-owned and trained by Bill Mastrangelo, and we're sure is off to a good start for the new year. Well, the last stop on this week's race recap, we go to snowy Hawthorne Race Course in Illinois, another Sunday race. It's the 1.70-yard Born a Star Stakes for 3-year-old fillies. The 7-5 favorite, the gray filly Peach of It, who you saw win the Yo Tambayan last week here on the Digest. Now Peach of It takes the lead in the stretch and draws off from Anita's Surprise as she wins the Born a Star Stakes by 3.5 lengths. The Illinois bred Peach of It winning her 4th straight, pushing her career earnings to over $200,000 with her victory in the Born a Star. Peach of It, Illinois bred by Navajo out of the mare Best of Peaches, is trained by Eddie Cole. Well, that wraps up most of the big stakes races from the last week of 1989. A little preview of 1990 for you as well. And we'll go back out to California next for a feature of the nation's leading apprentice riders. So stay with us. Be right back. 1989 was a big year for teenage race riders, led by 19-year-old Kent DeSomo, who smashed Chris McCarron's all-time single-season victory total, a mark that has stood for 15 years. Another 19-year-old has also been making headlines this year in the apprentice ranks in California. Mike Woolman has a profile on the top bug rider in the nation, Corey Nakatani.
In the late 1980s, there's been no shortage of hot apprentices in Southern California. In 1986, it was Corey Black, who, although he failed to win an Eclipse Award, led the nation's apprentices in money won. The case was the same in 1987, when Aaron Greider amassed earnings of just under $3 million. In 1989, it's been a fiery, self-confident 19-year-old named Corey Nakatani, whose tremendous athletic ability has enabled him to dominate California's apprentice picture.
He has great upper body strength. He seems to know
known to move a horse well. He makes some bad decisions sometimes, but then again, a lot of apprentices do. But he moves his horses well. He's very strong in the stretch. I've seen him in stretch battles with people like Pink Eye and people like McCarron, and he can hold his own, and he seems to be very game, and he's a very aggressive young rider.
Although he had no previous racetrack experience, Nakatani decided at age 16 to come to Santa Anita and discover how to become a jockey.
I like to draw, really, and I used to draw about horses, and I always liked horses. And then my dad brought me here because he drives RTD, and he took me here, and I liked it, and I asked him if there any way I could do that, and he said, well, I know Pink Eye, and he's real good, you know, and so I went from that, and my dad said, well, we'll take you to Tony Matos' farm as agent. So I went there, and I started learning how to break horses and work them and stuff. Well, the thing that impressed me most about him that he's very strongly a rider. He tries hard. He tries to win at any cost, and he's fearless. He goes through any hole. It's very important to have a lot of self-confidence. He's got a lot of confidence. He wants to do good. He exercises horses a lot in the morning, and what else can you say? You know, he's doing the right thing, and he's just gonna get better. The only thing he's gotta just keep going and keep trying hard, and he's gonna get better.
Nakatani's biggest break in 1989 came in April when Lafitte Pincay's longtime agent Tony Matos agreed to also handle the young apprentice.
Lafitte watched him ride, and he said, this kid's a natural talent. He's got a lot of ability. And for a kid that never been on a horse since he was 16, that was the first day of April. So as soon as I took his book, he started riding, and he wound up winning his 5th race April 14th. So he missed the first 4 months of the year, and he rode during Hollywood Park, Del Mar, Pomona, and now Santa Anita with the best riders in the country. I think he's a very, very good rider. Not a good apprentice, but a very good rider. He's earned a lot of money, and I think he should be a good candidate for the Eclipse Award.
Well, when we come back, we're going to reveal the Lanes Inn Trainer of the Month award winner for December as we close out the 89 year with that. Take a look now at Kent DeSomo on how he finished up. Remember, he broke Chris McCarron's record of 546 wins and almost hit the 600 mark in 1989. Lanes Inn Farm is starting its 3rd year with us here on the Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest show of their award for the Trainer of the Month in Thoroughbred Racing. They present a gold-imported stirrup clock each month to the top trainer. Not so much a trainer who maybe has the most wins or the most money earned. The trainer that best exemplifies the dedication and hard work of the top conditioners throughout this sport. Well, winding up 1989, Lanes Inn Choice for the top trainer in the month of December. One of Southern California's hottest conditioners right now, Dave Hoffmans. Hoffmans led the Hollywood Park Fall Meet with 12 winners. On December 6th, he settled individualist to win the Hollywood Preview Stakes here. And then last Friday in the San Miguel, Dave Hoffman sent out Terrascon to win that stakes for 2-year-olds at Santa Anita. We'll have a feature profile next week on the Digest on Lanes Inn Farm's December Trainer of the Month award winner. Our congratulations to Dave Hoffmans. Well, the Turf Publishers of America have released its list of 5 top nominees for the 1989 Big Sportive Turfdom Award. It's an award that recognizes the person who has done the most to help promote thoroughbred racing throughout the year. Here's a list of nominees now. It starts with Tim Conway, the famed actor-comedian, for his work in promoting the Don McBeth Fund to help support disabled riders. Young jockey Kent DeSomo surpassing Chris McCarron's all-time single-season victory mark of 546. He finished 89 with 597 wins. Richard Dick Duchossois, the man who rebuilt Arlington International outside Chicago and then conducted one of 1989's most successful race meetings. The Hall of Fame trainer of California, Charlie Whittingham. He guided the probable Horse of the Year Sunday Silencer, his great campaign last year. Shug McGahee, trainer of the powerful Phipps stable based in New York. That includes, of course, multimillionaire Easy Goer, along with Breeders' Cup champions Rhythm and Dancing Spree. It's time now to join Dave Johnson as he returns again this year with his Horse Talk segment, featuring interviews with top racing personalities. Here's Dave and Horse Talk.
Talking horses, talking jockeys with a gentleman making his name on the New York circuit, Herb McCauley. Herb, you rode in New Jersey at the Meadowlands. When did you decide to ride full-time in New York?
I came here last September, September 1st of '88.
And you were on the program. You had a good season then.
Yes, I did. It was just made the transition over here, and it's a very tough meet, and I was able to get some support by you know, some top horsemen, and I had a very good fall meet.
Well, now, what about the winter? You'd been used to going to Florida, but you stayed at Aqueduct last winter.
Yeah, I did, and it turned out well because the horsemen got a chance to see me ride, and I was leading rider most of the meet, and then Chris Antley and Julie Crone, they passed me towards the end, but it was good. They got a chance to see me really perform, and not only that, get some confidence in me.
And then you went to Saratoga?
Which turned out to be, that's probably the toughest meet in the world on a monthly basis, and it turned out a super meet. First time up there. I rode 14 winners in that 1 month period of time, and I was fourth in the standings, so it was a great feeling.
Which of the tracks for the New York Racing Association do you like riding better at? They all seem to have their differences. Aqueduct in the winter, and the big sweeping turns of Belmont, and the old-time attitude at Saratoga. Which is your favorite?
Well, I would say Saratoga I really enjoyed the most because it's the mornings, the training hours and everything, and it's kind of a break away from the metropolitan area here. But there's not a track in New York I don't really love riding at.
And you're going to stay here in New York?
Yes, definitely.
Best of luck at the top of the hill.
Thank you very much.
Talking horses with Herb McCauley, and we'll have some more horse talk for you next week.
Thank you, Dave. Some quick news notes now in thoroughbred racing for you. Hall of Fame jockey Eddie Arcaro is reportedly doing fine, expected to return to his home in Florida later this week after undergoing colon cancer surgery last Wednesday at the Miami Heart Institute. Arcaro is 72 years old. Good news for the historic Charlestown races in West Virginia. A late compromise was reached to keep that track open and running through 1990. The Charlestown races will have a 253-day schedule running from January 1st through December 13th. The news, unfortunately, is not so good for Suffolk Downs, the historic track outside Boston that has been conducting racing for 55 years. The current racing license has expired. While there is hope by some of running again by this spring, there's really nothing of substance at this point as far as new ownership for Suffolk Downs. And a big announcement in Baltimore, Maryland. The Pimlico Special Purse has been raised to $1 million for its 1990 running for the older horses. It matches now the Saturday Big Cap, as racing's only $1 million handicap events be run May 12th between the Derby and the Preakness. And a quick reminder of our new times, the Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest show in 1990. Wednesday, 3 to 3:30 Eastern, Thursday, 11 to 11:30 Pacific, Saturday, just for the beginning part of the year, at 6, and we'll be back to our Friday 9 a.m. play for you then. That's it for the Digest. See you next week.
Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest, the weekly national report on thoroughbred racing, has been brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By the Breeders' Cup, racing's $10 million championship. And by the Illinois Department of Agriculture, promoting Illinois-bred horses year-round. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 700 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4CAR.